What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Behind the Mind podcast, where we untangle the weird, wonderful, and sometimes terrifying threads of the human mind. I'm your host, Caden.
And your co-host, Caleb.
Today, we're stepping into the dark theater of psychology, literally. Have you ever watched a movie and felt seen? Like someone took your thoughts, your fears, your emotions, and threw them up on the screen? Well, that's not a coincidence. That's psychology in action. So let's talk about it. Let's start with a guy who made chaos look almost poetic. Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight. Now, Ledger didn't just play a villain, he became the embodiment of psychological anarchy. No empathy, no remorse, no predictable logic. The Joker isn't just crazy, he's a case study of antisocial personality disorder. A mind that lacks guilt and manipulates for pleasure. But also, he's a mirror, a disturbing reflection of how fragile our so-called sanity can be in the face of trauma and chaos.
Now, take Pennywise as portrayed as Bill Skarsgård. In it, the creepy grin, it's more than nightmare fuel. Pennywise preys on fear, literally, which ties into something primal. The amygdala, when we watch horror, our brains get a little taste of adrenaline, cortisol. It's a roller coaster, without leaving the couch. And writers know this. They hijack our psychology to keep us hooked.
But let's go deeper. Christian Bale in The Machinist. This dude dropped 60 pounds to portray a man unraveling from insomnia and guilt. That character, he's a walking case of psychosis, disassociation, possibly PTSD. He can't trust his own mind, and that's real for so many people. Trauma doesn't always look loud. It can look like self-isolation, paranoia, and forgetting who you even are.
Speaking of trauma and trust, let's flip the vibe. Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting. That park bench scene, you know the one. It's pure psychology. His character doesn't diagnose, doesn't lecture, he connects. That's humanistic psychology. It's about empathy, genuineness, and unconditional positive regard. Healing doesn't come from prescription. Sometimes it comes from someone saying, it's not your fault, and meaning it.
Now let's throw it back to Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman. That role introduced a lot of people to autism spectrum disorder, albeit in a Hollywood simplified way. Hoffman's character shows us how differently the brain can be wired. Incredible memory, rigid routines, struggles with emotions, these are traits, not flaws. Psychology teaches us to see beyond the label and ask, what does the world look like through their eyes?
Speaking of seeing behind the mind, Inside Out, Chef's Kiss. Pete Docter, Ronnie DeCameron, and Meg LeFaron didn't just make a Pixar movie. They created an emotional roadmap. Joy, sadness, fear, anger, disgust, personified. And for kids, that's revolutionary. They taught us that every emotion has a role. That bottling up sadness can make things worse. That memories are core, and that's textbook cognitive psychology, but serve with popcorn and tears.
You see, movies don't just entertain us, they reflect us. They teach us about attachment, identity, grief, memory, motivation. Whether it's a villain with no conscience or a red-haired cartoon girl learning to cry. Storytelling taps into brain's natural love for narrative. Our brains are wired for it. That's why we remember scenes more than lectures, characters more than definitions.
And now, let's not forget how our world shapes our psychology too. Social media, news cycles, even the way we binge watch. These all feed into psychology called cognitive schemes, mental shortcuts we use to interrupt reality. That's why someone can grow up idolizing Batman and someone else identifies with Joker. Same movie, different mind. If you ever wonder why your brain spirals at 2 a.m. or why your childhood still seems to echo into your adulthood, welcome to psychology. You've been living it your whole life. Movies just help you see it. So next time you hit the play button, remember, you're not just watching a story, you're watching behind the mind. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind to yourself, and maybe rewatch Inside Out. but brain tissues.